In a peaceful village surrounded by green fields, there stood a huge old tree. Its branches were white, its leaves were bright, and its shade was cool. Every afternoon, a little boy named Samir came to play under the tree. He climbed its branches, swung from its limbs, and ate its sweet apples. The tree loved the boy very much, and the boy loved the tree. Years passed. Samir grew older and started going to school. He visited the tree less often. One day he returned looking worried. "I need money to buy books," Samir said. The tree gently replied, "Take my apples and sell them in the market." Samir happily picked all the apples and left. The tree was happy because it could help him. More years passed. Samir returned again. "Now, young man, I want to build a house for my family," he said. The tree thought for a moment and replied, "Cut my branches and use them to build your house." Samir cut the branches and carried them away. The tree stood quietly, happy that it helped once more. Many years passed again. Samir returned as a tired middle-aged man. "I want to travel far away," he said. The tree said softly, "Cut my trunk, can build a boat. You can sail wherever you wish." Samir cut the trunk and built his boat. The tree was now only a stump, but it was still happy. A very long time later, Samir came back again. Now he was an old man with slow steps and tired eyes. "I am too old to travel now," Samir said quietly. "I only want a peaceful place to rest." The tree replied with love, "My dear friend, I have nothing left to give except a quiet place to sit." Samir sat down on the tree stump and rested. The wind blew gently through the empty branches, and even though the tree had given everything, it was still happy. Because sometimes, true love means giving without expecting anything in return. True love is selfless and never asks for anything back.
In the heart of a bustling city lived a boy named Adam, surrounded by mountains of shiny new toys. His absolute favorite was a little robot, but one day it just stopped working. Useless. Adam cried, and without a second thought, tossed it into the trash can outside. Later that evening, as the city lights flickered on, another boy named Sammy was walking down the same street. Sammy didn't have many toys, so he always kept an eye out for forgotten treasures. And there, peeking out from the trash, was the little robot. A hopeful smile spread across Sammy's face as he carefully picked it up. Back in his small room, Sammy gently cleaned the robot. He tinkered with its wires and gears, his fingers working with patience and care. Suddenly, a tiny light on the robot's chest blinked back to life. Sammy's heart leaped with joy. To him, this wasn't a broken toy. It was a special new friend. That night, Adam sat in his room, bored and surrounded by countless toys. Miles away, Sammy had only one, but as he imagined incredible adventures with his newly fixed robot, he felt like the happiest boy in the world. It just goes to show, what one person throws away, another can treasure forever. Thanks for watching. If you liked this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. On a busy city street, a tiny puppy named Coco wandered all alone. He'd lost his owner in the bustling market, and now he was just a small fluff ball in a big, scary world. Cars zoomed past, people hurried by, and no one seemed to notice the frightened little creature. Coco let out a soft bark, his eyes wide with fear as he looked for a familiar face. As hours turned into evening and the sky grew dark, Coco felt his hope begin to fade. But just then, a kind little girl named Lily spotted him shivering by the side of the road. She approached him slowly, her voice as gentle as a whisper. "Don't worry, little one," she said. Coco gave a hopeful little wag of his tail. Lily carefully picked him up and saw a small tag on his collar with a phone number. Using her mum's phone, she made the call. It wasn't long before a very worried man came rushing over, calling out, "Coco!" With so much relief, Coco leaped into his arms, overjoyed. That night, Coco was safe at home, and Lily learned a beautiful lesson. A small act of kindness can make the biggest difference, and sometimes it's what brings a lost heart all the way back home. Thanks for watching. In the heart of a quiet village, there stood an ancient, magnificent tree. Its branches stretched out like wide, welcoming arms, and its leaves rustled with secrets in the breeze. For generations, villagers found comfort and shade beneath it on sweltering summer days. But one morning, a group of workers arrived, their axes gleaming in the sun. "This tree is too old," one of them declared. "It's time for something new." The villagers, thinking of progress, reluctantly agreed. A young boy named Amir, however, felt a deep sadness. That tree was his friend. Determined to say a final goodbye, he began to climb its familiar gnarled trunk. High up among the branches, a wondrous world unfolded before his eyes. Dozens of bird nests were tucked safely among the leaves, each one holding delicate eggs or chirping fledglings. A tiny family of squirrels peeked out from a hollow in the trunk, their noses twitching. Colorful butterflies fluttered about, resting on the leaves like living jewels. Amir realized the old tree wasn't just wood and leaves. It was a bustling city of life. He scrambled down as fast as he could, his heart pounding. "Wait!" he shouted, telling everyone about the hidden homes he'd discovered. The villagers gathered around, peering closely, and they saw it too. The tree wasn't just old. It was a sanctuary. They immediately stopped the workers. From that day forward, the great tree was treasured not just for its age, but for the countless precious lives it protected. It became a beautiful reminder that sometimes the oldest things hold the most valuable treasures. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.
In a quiet village, tucked away in a small house, lived a little candle. This candle often felt quite sad. Day after day, it would watch the sun, so bright and powerful, lighting up the entire world. "I'm just so small," the candle would think to itself. "My tiny light is nothing compared to the magnificent sun." One evening, a fierce storm rolled in. Dark, heavy clouds swallowed the sky, and suddenly, the power in the village went out. Everything was plunged into pitch-black darkness. People stumbled around in their homes, unable to see a thing. Just then, a little girl carefully lit the small candle. In an instant, its tiny flame pushed back the shadows, filling the room with a warm, gentle glow. The family gathered around the little candle, their faces soft in its light, feeling safe and calm. Looking out the window, they saw other small lights appearing in neighboring houses, each one a brave little candle just like theirs. For the very first time, the little candle understood. Even though it was small, its light was powerful, especially when it was needed most. That night, it realized that even the smallest light can push away the greatest darkness. Thanks for watching.
In a small town lived a poor boy named Hazen. Every single day, Hazen had to walk many miles just to get to school. It was a long and tiring journey. One afternoon, while passing a dusty junkyard, something caught his eye. Tucked away in a corner was an old, broken bicycle. Its wheels were covered in rust, the chain was snapped, and the seat was torn. But where others saw junk, Hazen saw potential. His eyes lit up with hope. He found the owner and asked, "Excuse me, sir, can I please take this bicycle?" The man just laughed. "Kid, that thing is useless, but sure, you can have it." Hazen was overjoyed. He wheeled the broken bike all the way home. Every evening after finishing his schoolwork, he would get to work. He patiently cleaned every spot of rust, carefully tightened every loose bolt, and meticulously repaired the broken chain. It took many days of hard work and dedication. Finally, the moment came. Hazen cautiously got on the bike and pushed the pedals. Slowly, the wheels began to turn. It worked. The bicycle was working. From that day on, Hazen could get to school in no time. He even started giving rides to other children in his neighborhood, helping them on their way. The townspeople would smile whenever they saw the cheerful boy on his old, once broken bicycle. A testament to how with a little patience and effort, something broken can become wonderful and useful again. Thanks for watching.
In a quiet little town lived a young boy named Daniel. Every morning, on his way to school, he'd pass a thin stray dog huddled by the roadside. Most people walked right by, But Daniel's heart went out to the lonely creature. One day, he couldn't just walk past anymore. He stopped, opened his lunchbox, and shared half of his sandwich with the hungry dog. From that day forward, a beautiful friendship began. The dog would wag his tail excitedly every morning, waiting for his new friend. Daniel would share his food and a little bit of his time, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as Daniel was heading home, the sky turned a dark, angry gray. Rain started pouring down, making the paths slick and treacherous. As he walked near a deep ditch, his foot suddenly slipped on the muddy ground. He started to fall, but in a flash, the dog lunged forward, grabbing the back of his shirt with his teeth and pulling him back from the edge. Daniel was safe, his heart pounding. He hugged his furry hero tightly, realizing in that moment a profound truth. The small act of kindness he had shown, sharing his lunch, had returned to him in the most incredible way. From that day on, the dog was no longer a stray. He had a home and a name. He was Daniel's best friend. This just goes to show, the kindness you put out into the world has a funny way of finding its way back to you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.
In a quiet village surrounded by green hills, there lived a kind boy.
Hardworking woodcutter named Kareem. Every single day, he would venture into the woods, chopping wood to provide for his family. It was a simple but honest life. One bright morning, as he was chopping a tree near the riverbank, his grip slipped. Oh no, his axe flew out of his hands, spun through the air, and splashed right into the deep flowing water. Kareem stared at the ripples in despair. That was my only axe, he sighed, his heart sinking. How would he work now? Just then, the water began to shimmer, and a beautiful, shining fairy rose from the river. With a gentle voice, she asked, "My dear woodcutter, why do you look so sad?" Kareem, being an honest man, explained exactly what had happened. The fairy listened, then dipped back into the water. She returned holding a magnificent golden axe, sparkling in the sunlight. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Kareem's eyes went wide, but he shook his head. "No, that's not mine. My axe is just an old, plain iron one." The fairy smiled and disappeared again. This time she came back with a gleaming silver axe. "How about this one?" "Is this yours?" Again Kareem politely said, "No, that's a beautiful axe, but it's not mine." For a third time the fairy went into the river. When she emerged, she was holding his old, worn-out iron axe. Kareem's face instantly lit up with joy. "Yes, that's it, that's my axe," he exclaimed. The fairy was so impressed by his truthfulness. "Because you have been so honest," she said, "you deserve a reward." She handed him not only his iron axe, but the golden and silver axes as well. Kareem returned home overjoyed, his life completely changed. He learned a valuable lesson that day. Honesty is a true treasure, and it is always rewarded. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.
In a quiet corner of a beautiful garden, a tiny seed lay buried deep in the soil. All around it, magnificent plants and towering trees stood tall, their leaves rustling in the breeze. The little seed looked up at them and felt incredibly small. "I'll never be as big and strong as they are," it whispered to itself with a sigh. As the days turned into weeks, gentle rain fell, and the warm sun kissed the earth. Slowly, something magical began to happen. The tiny seed started to change, pushing a small green sprout up through the soil. But the world outside was intimidating. The wind howled and the little sprout shivered, feeling scared and fragile. Even so, it didn't give up. It held on tightly, growing just a little bit more each day. Before long, that little sprout grew into a sturdy plant. Birds found a home on its branches, singing cheerful songs, and colorful butterflies danced around its lovely flowers. One sunny morning, the plant looked around and realized something amazing. It wasn't just a plant anymore. It had grown into a beautiful, strong tree, making the whole garden brighter. That tiny seed, once so full of doubt, had become something truly wonderful. It just goes to show you, great things often have very small beginnings. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
Once there was a big apple tree. The tree loved a little boy who came to play under its branches. The boy climbed the tree, ate its apples, and rested in its shade. And the tree was happy. Years passed, and the boy grew older. One day he returned and said, "I need money." The tree replied, "Take my apples and sell them." The boy took the apples and left. Later he came back and said, "I need a house." The tree said, "Cut my branches and build your home." The boy did, and the tree was happy again. Many years later, the boy returned as an old man. "I am tired," he said. The tree replied softly, "My trunk is all I have left. Sit and rest." The old man sat on the tree stump quietly. And even then, the tree was happy. True love gives without expecting anything in return.
In a small village lived a poor boy named Omar. Every day he walked a long road to school with only one piece of bread for lunch, one cold morning, while walking through the market. Omar saw an old hungry man sitting beside the road. The old man looked weak and tired. "Please, I haven't eaten for days," he said softly. Omar looked at his only bread. He was hungry too. For a moment he thought about keeping it. But then he broke the bread into 2 pieces and gave half to the old man. The old man smiled warmly and said, "Thank you, my child. Your kindness will come back to you." Omar went to school still hungry, but his heart felt warm. Later that day, the school principal announced something surprising. A kind stranger had donated food for students who could not afford lunch. That day, Omar and many other children received warm meals. Omar smiled quietly, because sometimes, when you share what little you have, life gives you even more in return. A small act of kindness can bring unexpected blessings.
Once there was a big apple tree. The tree loved a little boy who came to play under its branches. The boy climbed the tree, ate its apples, and rested in its shade. And the tree was happy. Years passed, and the boy grew older. One day he returned and said, "I need money." The tree replied, "Take my apples and sell them." The boy took the apples and left. Later he came back and said, "I need a house." The tree said, "Cut my branches and build your home." The boy did, and the tree was happy again. Many years later, the boy returned as an old man. "I am tired," he said. The tree replied softly, "My trunk is all I have left. Sit and rest." The old man sat on the tree stump quietly, and even then, the tree was happy. True love gives without expecting anything in return.